got it. I got it down. I got it down. The air drumming. Grand Rising, all. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. I am Steele Greye. If it's your first time being here, welcome. I am a vocalist, a host, philanthropist, musician, podcast host, overall enthusiast of all things health, vegetarianism, and just being in a healthy mindset in general. That's why I'm here. That's what I love to talk about. And I'm so happy that you're here with me today because today is an important day. This is an important, specific episode of the Huddle because this huddle deals with eating disorders. Now, we definitely can't do this in a half an hour. Definitely cannot. But this particular thing is a very, very important topic. And it happens to be Eating Disorder Awareness Week, right? So this week, I believe it's from, what was it again? I want to say February 24th to March 2nd, I think, is the entire week of eating disorder awareness. Now, when we talk about eating disorders, this topic is a sensitive topic because there are people experiencing this specific thing in a myriad of ways, right? And not only does it affect how they're eating, but it affects how they're thinking and how they're being in the world. Now, when you talk about this particular thing, I need to also tell you that eating disorders in general have the second highest mortality rate among all mental health conditions. Second, okay? Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds important to me, right? So you figure, I believe the statistic is 10,000, over 10,000 people for a year or every 52 minutes. Now, think about this. Every 52 minutes, a person dies from an eating disorder. And in a year, 10,200 people pass away from this. I would say that's important. I'd say it's important for a lot of reasons. But the reason why I chose this topic is because I had done some research on it a while back because I have a friend who had an eating disorder and I saw them go from very heavy to very skinny to medium to very heavy. And I was able to have kind of like a, a special inside look at this. So I have kind of a personal connection to this, obviously not with me, but in general, right? So interestingly enough, the Eating Disorder Awareness Week, the theme is the time is now, which I find interesting because when they say the time is now, they are seeing the numbers skyrocket as it relates to eating disorders, right? Skyrocket. Now, when you think about it, what do we need to do? Well, we have to reshape our knowledge. We have to reshape our resources. We have to figure out how are these people getting help for what we call the eating disorder, right? If you're not familiar with this eating disorder or you're not sure exactly what I'm saying, um, the theme for it through all of my studies is concentrating on people going away from the mentality that the size of your body is a direct relation on who you are or your worth or how you show up. We can talk about this for hours, right? But with the advent of AI and the AI filters and the things that are going on, we're actually getting deeper in the hole on the perception of an eating disorder. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. We're living in a time where AI is able to create perfection from any image that you give it. Once that happens, now you have these, what do I want to call them? we can call them avatars, we can call them anything. That version of you, the one that you're able to create or someone else can create for you, puts the bar so high for people who feel like they're overweight. They're not taking care of their bodies. So what happens is they go into this kind of tunnel on their own where their only intention and goal is to get thin or to look like the avatar that AI has created. Now, think about that. That doesn't make any sense, right? To the everyday person, because these people are running after something that's unattainable, right? There is no perfection. We are all beautiful beings with our body just as we are right now. Whether you think you're overweight, you think you're too skinny, you think you need to look like the woman or the man on the magazine. And um, so, simply put, goals never depend on the size of your body, right? I want to say that out loud because there could be somebody listening to me right now that's struggling with an eating disorder. And I have nothing but compassion for you if you're going through that. Now, uh, man, I put some stats down that I think are whew, just amazing. One of them is that this won't be a shocker to you, but eating disorders actually peaked beyond measure during COVID. That makes sense, right? People are home, they're unable to move around as they normally do. They start to eat more, copious amounts more, or copious amounts less, because they feel like when they re-enter society, they're going to be perfect if they do it that way. They're going to be just how everyone wants them to be, so on and so forth. Um, Another interesting stat, out of 80 studies, they found that 35% of people with disorders have engaged in non-suicidal injury, right? In layman's terms, they were not trying to kill themselves. However, they did things like um, cut their body or wore clothes that squeeze their body to make themselves look, thinner, or starve themselves in an unhealthy way. These things were happening. Obviously, like I said, during COVID, that's not a shocker, not a shocker at all. And also, 20 articles suggested that binge eating disorder was associated with personality disorder. So, as I said a few minutes ago, it's not only that the person is concerned with how they look or their aesthetic uh, card or way that they're presented to people, but it goes into their mind and it creates another issue. So we have the body, and then now we have the personality. So now we're acting a different way because of our obsession with wanting to be a certain size. Whew, this is serious stuff. So this one I read, I thought was very interesting. It says in 12 studies, they found that rates of anorexia nervosa and binge eating seem to both increase during pregnancy. So imagine somebody's already obsessed with how they look from an aesthetic perspective, but now the woman is pregnant and she's getting bigger and she can't control that. This starts to create um, a mental dis-ease, as it is, and whew, my goodness. Now you'll be surprised. This is a very, very daunting number. $64.7 billion yearly of the economic cost of eating disorders. Now, when you think about that, whether it's people wanting to get help for it, whether it's people that are creating other problems in their life that cause more economic issues for many people around them, can you imagine? I mean, whew. So 28.8 million Americans will have an eating disorder in their lifetime. That's a lot of people, right? A lot of people. During this particular week, as I said before, Eating Disorder Awareness Week, this week happens every year, and it's built to kind of polarize the issue and have more tools to take care of it, obviously. um, I had one more stat I wanted to tell you. Um, this one really gave me pause. the rate of children under 12 being admitted to a hospital for eating disorders rose 119% in less than a decade. Now, I mean, under 12? So you might ask yourself, under 12. So are you saying that the parents are mistreating the way that they nourish their children? Or are you saying that the children see the images of certain things and want to kind of zero in on that and they want to be this particular way? That really threw me off a little bit, because if you're under 12 and you're being admitted to a hospital for an eating disorder, I just I have to look at the parents in some way, right? I have to see, what are they doing? How did this happen, right? From a non-judgmental perspective, what do we look at? How do we understand that, right? That blew me away. I mean, whew, wow. So what happens is people get obsessed with clean or perfect eating, obsessed, and then it leads to malnutrition, and then complete social isolation. So imagine a person who feels so much comfort from eating. It feels so good to them. It's just as good as sex to them. They're just eating, eating, eating. But then when they look at their body, they say, can't go outside like this. I'm just going to stay inside for the next 2 weeks, for the next month. It becomes a habit because they don't want to be seen. And then this turns into this whole mental thing, right? These are all points that I studied and I looked into, and I felt an extra layer of compassion, especially for my friend who I know went through this. And I thought, man, what could I do for them to let them know that, they're cool like that? You want to change your body, you want to change your brain. There's nothing wrong with that. But the social anxiety that's connected to it, that bleeds into an area of our lives or multiple parts of our lives, it kind of reverses all that is positive and forward moving. It kind of puts you in like almost like a quicksand of sorts, and people feel like they can't get out of it. Um, I said before that the AI revolution is changing everything, and it's only getting worse, right? Is what I should have said, because we're moving further and further into AI. So not only are people seeing unrealistic versions of themselves, but there are ways to somewhat mask maybe what they're feeling for temporary periods of time. That can be an obsession too, right? So how do we deal with that? Um, there are plenty of hyper realistic influencers and influences that change the vibration of everything. I also wanted to say that there are, I think there was, what was the other one? So there's two things that I want you to write down if you know someone who has a severe eating disorder, you think they might have an eating disorder. These two things are, one of them is www.equip.health, EQUIP.health instead of .com, www.equip.health, right? This place offers a free eating disorder screener. I thought that was really great, because in my research, I was searching for who are the people who are actually stepping up to help people, who are actually stepping up to say, hey, I got a solution for you, or hey, let me take your hand, see where you're at with this. So that company has it. And then what was the other one? Oh, um, there's a site called Better Health that's wait, I want to make sure that it's, because I have two of them that I saw. My apologies. It's not Better Health, it's betterhelp.com. BETTER help.com. Betterhelp.com. Primarily known for actual therapy, for a myriad of different things, not specifically just eating disorders. But BetterHelp has an amazing platform that everyone can go onto, less expensive than traditional therapist. Also, the benefits of it, obviously, you can be anywhere you want to. They can follow up with you. You can change people that you speak to if you like. It's a little bit more intense, but you don't have to actually go in person if you don't feel like that is what you want to do, right? Also, there's a place called the eatingrecoverycenter.com, right? Eatingrecoverycenter.com. And they have an acronym called BED, which stands for binge eating disorder, which I thought was interesting. And, you know, this particular company, I believe they've been doing this since 2016. They're in Denver, Colorado. I'm going to give you the number for them, but you can reach them online at eatingrecoverycenter.com. The number is 866 957 0064. And they have these groups that meet 3 times a week for 3 hours each day. And it's a collective group of people who get together and discuss what they're going through. I always feel like collectively we can solve everything, right? More than one person, you're getting feedback, you can get stronger. I believe that wholeheartedly. Um, I would love to hear what anyone has to say about eating disorders. If you've had any experience with it, if you know someone who's going through it, and what are your thoughts about where we are right now? Like all of this media is showing all this perfection. How does it affect you, if it affects you at all? Anyone? Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Um, you know, when I was researching this topic and I was looking at all these crazy stats that are just like still blowing me away, I was thinking to myself, this is just the stats that they have. Imagine how many people will not move from this place until they see possibly a specific Zoom like this, or possibly somebody has to come and see them in a specific place for them to move to another, place. Who knows? Who knows? I feel like this is an important, specific show today because most times when someone's hurting or someone's going through something, especially eating disorders, they're not just gonna pop out the box and say, "Hey, I'm gonna let you know I have an eating disorder." You might see it, you might feel it, but I encourage you to take the information that I have today, even if you have to listen to it again, and reach out to someone or send it to someone. I don't know what the right way is to open up this kind of conversation with someone, except I'm here for you. I feel like you're going through something. I'm here for you. Would you like to open up to me, or would you like me to help you? That's the only way I can see to do it without being, you know, too, I don't know, too aggressive or judgy or whatever the case may be. In my case, the person that I know that has an eating disorder, I opened it up pretty much like that, literally over a meal. I said to them, "Wow, I'm feeling something from you, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not." And I opened it up, and they were like, "Wow, thanks for asking," and it changed the entire energy, right? So I got a little more information about it. Um, I implore you to go online and look at the information that exists for this because it's really daunting. Again, that stat that eating disorders has the second highest mortality rate among mental health conditions. Second highest. That's amazing to me. I don't even know what the first one is. I have to look at that. Um, but please understand, and I want to say this again because I think it's an important thing to say. If anyone here is dealing with an eating disorder, please know that your actual physicality is your physicality. It belongs to you. You are a beautiful being the way that you are. But if you want to improve it, that's on you as well. I just want to emphasize that in this place that we're in right now with all of this information coming at us back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, the magazines, the podcasts, the this, the that, that's letting you know you will not get ahead unless you look like this. I don't believe that that's true. I don't see it specifically that way. I see tons of people that are, what's the term we're going to use here? Uh, Having an aesthetic challenge or aesthetically challenged within their own self, completely flourishing. I've seen it so many times. So, if in this specific thing or in this specific way of being, someone, anyone, is telling you that that's not what's happening or you can't do that or whatever the case may be, please don't take that seriously. Please don't. Because I even see personal trainers that don't look perfect training people with bodies that look better than them to the outside person. Why is that? They know the information, right? Did they use it on themselves? Looks like they didn't, right? But they still have 5 or 6 or 7 clients. And I can give you 10 more examples of that, right? The eating disorder, once it gets in your system and goes to your head, the ramifications are endless, endless. We talked about how the physical can turn into the mental. That's a pretty known concept, right, in the world, that what we think about and internalize can come about in our brain and in our actions. We understand that. But as it relates to this specific thing of eating disorders, please speak to someone. Please go to the library. Please research online the things that you can do to help yourself. They are there in large amounts. I've looked at a million things, trust me. And I don't specifically have an eating disorder. However, there's a fascination about it for me because I see certain symptoms in certain people and I'm not sure, but I don't know what to say. I don't know how to give them the open cavern, except how I told you a couple moments ago. And there are things to do online, things to look at, like that free screening that I talked to you about on equip.health. So go to that, do a free screening, see if it helps you. You have nothing to lose. It's free, right? And also remember that in this particular time, many things that we see are not real. Remember that. They're really not real. We see them on the screen. They're packaged nice, they have beautiful colors, but they are concocted to stimulate our brain for us to do X, Y, Z. I specifically love the digital world, but I also know that the analog world is just as good on many levels, right? To give the example of a camera, for example, I have a lot of cameras, manual cameras. I love the way they feel. I love the way they click. I love everything about it. I also have a couple digital cameras. The decisions I can make on a digital camera are 20 times more than the manual camera, right? But does this digital camera define me and my perspective? No, not on any day of the week. Because I know the art comes from this analog piece right here. And that's what I feel about us and our bodies and our mentality. You know where you come from. You know when you began, nothing was going on. You were fed certain pieces of your mentality. You were fed actual food. And now we have the opportunity to make a decision as it relates to how we want to sculpt this masterpiece that we walk around with. So ask yourself if you're feeling good about who you are and how you look aesthetically. I don't know if anyone within the sound of my voice right now has an eating disorder. What I do know, though, is that we have a lot of mental things that cause other things to happen. So just look out for yourself. Look into this topic. Help others that maybe, we don't know, suffering with this particular thing. And it's free to research it. There are millions of people suffering from eating disorders. It's fascinating to me because as I did my research, there were so many. Pick any walk of life, men, women, straight, gay, transgender, seniors. So many people have it. It's kind of just hiding here. That's why um, the Eating Disorder Awareness Week came to pass because they want to really look into it in this particular week. I think it deserves an entire month, but hey, not my call, right? Not my call. Would anyone like to add anything before we tune out? Ingrid.
Grand Rising. I can't get my video on.
Oh, good. I saw you exercising. That was awesome.
Oh, you did?
I did.
I didn't know I was on camera.
Were you on camera? You were like moving around. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't answer you when you told me Grand Rising. Okay.
That she is stretching on camera. That's nice. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Wasn't aware. Okay, yes. I just wanted to put a name to some of the eating disorders
Yes.
so people could have like know something to look for or to witness or to pick up on, like you picked up on with your friend.
Yes.
First of all, the definition of eating disorder is abnormal eating behaviors that
Interesting.
adversely affect one's physical and mental health.
Correct.
It could be eating too much or eating too little.
Yes.
Anorexia is one of them.
Yes.
And that's under eating when someone is pure skin and bones looking skeletal. You know, we see a lot of people and they're just like skin and bones. I think that's probably the most popular one. Anorexia. Then there's the bulimia, which is regularly eating large amounts of food and losing control of the eating, just overly eating. And then I think the opposite to that is like the binge eating, which is eating large amounts of food in a short period of time, like just stuffing your face. And a lot of times when people
Right.
do these two, they will then go in the bathroom and make themselves throw it up.
Right.
You know, so it's like they eat stuff themselves and then go in the bathroom, put their finger down their throat to bring it all up again.
Yep, true.
And then there's restrictive eating, which is the avoidance of certain foods or how much you eat or the variety of foods that causes malnutrition or weight loss or psychological issues. So it could go in different various forms. So and that's why even when people say, okay, I'm not going to eat carbs, I'm like, be careful with that because we all need carbs and carbs is energy. And if you could go overboard when you start to restrict and take out certain groups of foods.
Correct.
So I just want to give a name to the this eating disorders, and thank you, Chase, for bringing my awareness that this is Eating Disorder Awareness Week and for bringing it to all of our attention. But those are some of the names, just so you could have an idea to what to observe or if you observe it in others. That's my piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny that you brought that up because when I was doing my research for this, and I researched this a couple of weeks ago and then a couple of days ago again, and I've been doing just like spot checks with it. There were so many acronyms for eating disorders. I didn't even write them down. There were so many. I couldn't believe how many are actually categorized in specific little things and how people are dealing with them. It was absolutely amazing. So, I think everyone gets the gist of what I'm saying. And as always, no matter what topic I talk about, I want to make sure people are seen and heard and understood based on what they are going through. As it relates to health or wellness, we all play a part in that, right? So as we're going out into the world today, if we feel a little bit more sunshiny than we did yesterday, that's going to affect somebody. And if we feel a little under par today and we bring that energy outside, that's going to affect people as well. So as it was once said, we don't get to go outside without any energy. Everyone has energy. You can't just shut it off. That's an energy, right? And the people who are dealing with eating disorders right now, I believe that they need people to put their hand on their back or say a kind word or let them know that someone's there present to help them, as I did with my friend. And it made a difference. I didn't feel like in the moment it made a difference, but it really made a difference to my friend. And I said, wow, I'm so glad I said something because I was a little bit afraid to, bring it up or make this person feel uncomfortable. Anyhow, lots of information online. So please go and look at the eating disorders information, this being Eating Disorder Awareness Week up until the 2nd of March, I believe. And in your particular area of the world, wherever you are, there's definitely a place where people are converging to talk about this, to get help from each other. And I gave you those two websites, equip.health and betterhelp.com, which is an actual therapy conglomerate of all these different people. So anyone have anything else they want to say before we wrap it up?
I just want to say the way we can help is like to help them, or if anyone out there that is listening that has this disease, is to do whatever it takes and connect with whoever you can to help build up your self-esteem and create a positive body image, and also to have a healthy relationship as far as food and physical activity. And if we can help someone do that, if we notice these signs, because it is a deadly disease that people are dying from unintentionally, as you said earlier.
Right. It's true. I mean, my goodness, a person every 52 seconds, that's too much. Or minutes, that's too much. That's way too much. So do what you can when you can. And if you don't know what you're doing, research it. Get some more information about this because it's really important. And we have a lot of people who have a lot to offer, and they're cocooning in their homes and in front of their computer and trying to hide themselves. And we need them out here, right? We need all of us to create the entire landscape. So thank you so much for being here, everybody. And as always, we leave you with our tenets. First and foremost, please love out loud. Please do that for yourself and for humanity. Please laugh more than you think you should, right? Please move your body through running, jumping, skipping, trampolining, biking. Do something to let your body know you appreciate it today. Please, 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 please. Sleep, get a little bit more sleep, because when you get a little bit more sleep, you will feel more energized to do those other things as well, which is an amazing little connection, right? It works. Eat mostly plant-based as much as you can. I don't know if you know this or not, but the plants are getting it right. The plants are getting it right. Nature does what it does consistently. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Also, please check your assumptions. Check the way that you're seeing things and make sure that you're not pulling yourself down an avenue that you don't need to go to, right? And you know what, my good people, all I can say for the end of this particular episode is pay attention. Pay attention to what you're doing around yourself and how you're ingesting whatever you are. You're important to the whole. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
One love, guys. One love.